Hi, this is Stephanie Lindloff from Our Natural Wisdom, and today I want to share some easy tips for overcoming self-talk that is negative. So many of us deal with this, especially those of us who are overachievers and recovering perfectionists, and those of us who really see that changes would be so beneficial in our lives and in the world around us. And if this is a description of you, and I imagine that it most likely is if you're listening to this, if you've been led here to the work that I do to support women, especially those who are healers of Mother Earth. I know that negative self-talk is so common. It's something that I've been dealing with my entire life, and I wanted to share some things that came up for me this morning when I realized I was in a negative self-talk pattern that might be helpful for you. And in healing this negative pattern of negative self-talk, it is a beautiful way to really peel away the layers of acknowledging and affirming your intuitive messages. And of course, spending time in nature is a beautiful way to do this, to find that healing and calm that really helps us celebrate ourselves and lighten up a little bit and take away those negative self-talk patterns. So just a quick couple of stories. This morning, I was reflecting on how I've gone a little over 2 months without having any coffee. I will say that I have been drinking matcha green tea and loving it, so I have been having a little bit of caffeine, but nothing like what I was drinking before. And let me tell you, I was drinking so much coffee, I'm embarrassed to tell you, easily over a pot a day of coffee, which is just, and that was, regular coffee. So harsh on my system in so many respects, but it was just this habit that I had gotten into, especially after I finished nursing my son, who is now 3.5. So over the last 2 years, I've just been drinking way too much coffee, and I knew that it was a habit that I needed to end. So a little over 2 months ago, I stopped cold turkey. It was a bit rough, but I did it. And I, this morning, was reflecting on the fact that I did this and really, kind of in awe of this accomplishment, removing an addiction from my life. And then I realized that right after I acknowledged that I had achieved this for myself, I had the words, yes, but you're still eating too much sugar, or yes, but you're not on a regular exercise regime, or yes, but da-da-da. So easy, so common to fall into that pattern. And it's a classic pattern of negative self-talk, especially when you have achieved something, accomplished something that at one point in your life might have seemed almost unattainable, something that was an obstacle to you that felt so difficult to overcome. And for me, frankly, my coffee addiction it felt that way. It felt like, man, how am I ever gonna quit coffee? And I did it. And when I tried to acknowledge that this morning, I felt my head going to, yes, but all of these things. Classic negative self-talk behavior. So what I really was realizing in that moment was that, first of all, it was all in my head. That was my brain providing the yes, but, because it was looking for, the next thing, or it thought that it was being protective of me or helpful in some way because I went to this hypercritical place. But in doing that, I was not acknowledging what I had accomplished. I was removing myself from heartfelt celebration and compassion and love and, the atta-girls that we all need in so many times in our day. I was taking the celebration out of it. I was undermining the celebration. So I really was thinking intentionally about moving from my head to my heart. and just literally imagining a wave of understanding that just went down, it just moved down in my body from my head to my heart. And this really felt good. It allowed me to stay in that space of celebration and acknowledgement for what I had accomplished. And I would encourage you to try this as well, because even if it's just a few seconds of being within your heart, really acknowledging what you have accomplished, that is so beautiful. Remove your intellect from your celebrations as often as you can, because your celebrations are of the heart and the soul. And it just felt so much lighter and freer, and I know that you can feel this too. So I was really feeling guided to share that with you today. And it is so related to your ability to reawaken your intuition and your power of presence, because when we do this, there are so many experiences that you have that are mystical and magical and do not make sense intellectually. So it's very easy for you to experience something, a connection with nature, a resonance in a way that you have never had before. Maybe you feel that you are connecting with nature spirits. Maybe you feel that the plants or the trees or the animals are speaking to you in some way. And then your intellect will very quickly say, yes, but that's ridiculous. Or, yes, but you're a scientist. You can't possibly believe that this is happening. Or, yes, but, oh, remember that grad school class that told you that this was just anthropomorphizing and making things up? The intellect kicks into gear because this kind of receiving this wisdom and reawakening this wisdom that you have within you is not of your intellect. It is not something that you can intellectually understand or that you are meant to analyze. It is meant for you to experience and to, our dog next door just started barking at me. And it is meant for you to really appreciate in a heartfelt way so that you can reconnect with that connection, that relationship, that amazing partnership that you have with Mother Earth from the heart and from the soul. This is not about your intellect. Sorry for the barking next door. I have a little puppy who lives next door. Her name is Luna, which I just love. So, one last thing on that point that I wanted to share, and this is feeling vulnerable because it is my intellect saying, that's crazy, yes, but I'm going to share it because I want to show you how this is so powerful when we do share. Last night I was preparing kale, fresh kale that I use for lots of salads and smoothies throughout the week. And as I was cutting it from the stems, I was really feeling really connecting with the kale. Like I was imagining where it grew and what it experienced and the breeze through the leaves and the fields and the rain that fell upon the kale. And just really kind of getting into that space, which frankly I needed because I needed a break. And from just the everyday chaos of, life with 2 kids and whatnot. But I also I really need to get more in touch with my food and with how it is grown and what it brings forth for us in our understanding of the world. So as I was working with this kale, I was really in that space of connection and appreciation and celebration and acknowledgement. And as I was cleaning up, I had some towels that I had wrapped the kale in to dry off. And as I had already put away the kale, although I didn't realize it, but there were pieces of kale left within the towels. And as I was wrapping them up, I felt this intense buzzing sensation in my hands as they were holding the kale in the towels. And I didn't know what it was, and it kind of scared me for a second. And of course, immediately I put it down and I shook it out, and only kale fell out. I was almost expecting like an insect or something, but nothing was in there but the kale. And I immediately was like, it's the energy of the kale. I was just feeling the energy of the kale. I was making a connection with that. Oh, and then within a nanosecond, I went to, yes, but you're crazy. What are you talking about? You felt the energy of the kale? My intellect couldn't handle it. It couldn't handle the truth of my mystical experience. And it was looking for all sorts of reasons. Oh, well, it was just your neurons firing in your hand or whatever. My science training kicked in, all sorts of things kicked in to have negative self-talk, to take away that experience that I had. Why not experience it? Why not allow myself to simply celebrate what I had just experienced? And so I did. So I intentionally moved that energy from my head to my heart, sat with it for a few seconds, and just was in that space of celebration for something mystical and magical that I had just experienced. Just a little couple of stories to help you see how this can really change your approach to the world around you. There is such joy and healing to be found in celebrating. So please be sure to celebrate your moments, whether they're connecting with nature, finishing that policy statement, providing a wonderful public hearing that you really know was effective in your work in service of the earth. Give yourself the moments to celebrate. And if you find yourself going to that, yes, but there's so much more to do, or yes, but that one person didn't like it, or, just allow yourself to move from your head down to your heart and receive the celebration for your accomplishments and your achievements, because there are so many. You are doing such wonderful work in service of Mother Earth. I am appreciative. She is appreciative. Your soul is celebrating all that you do. I hope that this helped. I would love to hear what you have to say on this topic of celebrating and overcoming negative self-talk. It is a lifelong journey, my friend, but we can do it together. And Mother Earth is standing by to help you every step of the way. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.